Yeah, I know you want to go play. You're excited. You didn't get to go play for the last couple of days. Okay. Well, this is Belle's second season, and we're currently about the middle of October, and the hunting season starts the 1st of September. And so we've been, letting her fly for about a month and a half now, and she's doing very, very well. She's got 31 rabbits that she's caught so far this year, and that's really good. I know, you're so excited, sweetie. So excited. There you go. Yeah, you're set. You ready to go play? And the nice thing about the second season is if you've done your job correctly and you've worked really hard the first season and you've gotten her lots of experience and in chasing game and so on, then there's my girl. And if you've brought her through the molt correctly, and that's very important. The molt, she basically isn't flying for about 6 months. She's basically growing new feathers, and the hunting season's over, and we can't be out here if it's not hunting season. And so if you just put them up for the molt and leave them in a chamber unsocialized, then the beginning of the hunting season is always a lot of work. But if you're willing to put in the time during the molt, where you feed them off the glove and you give them lots of socialization and lots of opportunities to kind of hang out with you and the family and the dog and everybody, the beginning of the second season for Falconry, the bird is already manned and just absolutely ready to go. And it's just nothing but getting them out and flying to get their fitness level up and you're hunting. So if you put in the time during the molt, then the beginning of the falconry season is just flawless as far as, there she goes. There's my girl. Come on, babe. Good girl. That was probably a cottontail. The brush is really thick and it's easy for them to maneuver through the brush and make it very hard for her to catch them. So that was actually a pretty terrific flight to watch. And please forgive me, this is we're trying a new position for the GoPro. Yeah, it's not there. Come on, sweet. Come on, pretty girl. And so we'll have to see how the video comes out with the GoPro right here on my shoulder and kind of go from there. Yeah. How you doing, Belle? You being a good girl? But we'll try to get enough hunting video in with her to see if we can get something really good with the GoPro. We'll have to edit a bunch of pieces together over the next few months as Belle and I are out hunting. But as you can see, she's right here with me. She's attentive. She's looking for rabbits. She hawks off the glove beautifully. And it's all because we've really kind of put the time in to keep the first year's training in force, so that she understands what we're doing. And so this is like I said, this is kind of what I call the golden. There she goes. There's a jack. Almost. Still after it. Had a really good flight on a jackrabbit. Yeah, we've tried the GoPro on my head, we've tried the GoPro on my chest. Now we're trying the shoulder mount in the hopes that maybe that'll give us a little bit different perspective. And so we'll have to just kind of see how it goes here. But for Belle, the important thing isn't camera, the important thing is getting opportunities to chase rabbits. Isn't that right, sweetie? What a pretty girl. Come on. There's my girl. Yeah, such a good girl. What a pretty girl. Oh, you see something, sweetie? Something caught your eye. And so the whole idea is to be in tune with your bird. You know, she sees movements that I will never see. Her eyesight's so much better. So it's very important to stay in tune, watch your bird, kind of go where the bird is looking. The bird has absolute freedom to come and go from the glove. So that we don't hinder her if a rabbit does flush in the flight. A lot of falconers, they believe their bird is goofing off, and they try to hang onto the jessies to keep the bird under control, and that really causes more problems than it helps. If you've done your job and the bird is well made to quarry, your bird knows when it gets out in a field like this that it's time to get down to business and time to chase rabbits. And so that should be the only thing on your bird's mind if you've done your job right. Okay, that's a girl. And out in a place like this, in the high desert, blue sage and rabbit brush, it doesn't matter what direction we go. There are kind of rabbits in every direction, and it's a matter of just covering as much ground as quickly as you can, try to get a rabbit moving. Okay. So you want to move through as quickly as you can, as safely as you can. This is pretty treacherous walking out here. I don't know, there's my phone. Okay. Hope we're recording again. Let me see if I can see anything here. Yeah, it does look like we are recording. Good deal. There we are. Okay, Belle. Sorry, we got interrupted by a phone call. See, that'll bend a little bit more back. See what that looks like. Like I said, I have no idea what kind of a view we're getting from the camera here on my shoulder, but we'll try it, see where we're at, and see what we've got going here. Yeah, there's my girl. It's really hard to believe we're in mid-October and it's 70 degrees out today. But that won't last long. We had hard freezes last week, and the cold is just around the corner. Isn't it, Belle? That's my girl. Yeah, the cold weather's just around the corner for us. There she goes. Another jackrabbit. Good stoop. Oh, she got one. That's where I have to move fast. Jumping over a bush. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got a rabbit here. It's a nice sized jack. That's my girl. Okay. Well, here we are. There's Belle. That's her jackrabbit for the day. The rabbit's dying. She's got a good grip on it here, and I've done my thing. Now it's just twitching a little bit with the nerves, but the rabbit's dead. Okay. Good girl, Belle. You did wonderful. First rabbit of the day. Such a good girl. Yes, you are. Okay. Now, I have a bag. Bag's very important. We cover the rabbit with the bag here so that Belle can't see it any longer. And if you can see my hand right here, I've got food. This is not a whole meal, but this is a nice reward. And we're going to make a change. I'm going to put this out in front of her. I'm going to cover up the rabbit and let her make the decision. Hopefully that the food is a lot more attractive than the furry rabbit, because you can just eat the food and not have to worry about all the plucking necessary for the rabbit. And so we cover up the rabbit nicely, put the food just out of reach for her. And there she goes. She's giving up the rabbit now. But I got to get the rabbit in the bag fast, because she needs to, the rabbit needs to be completely gone when she finishes her little meal that I've just given her. So, rabbit's in the bag. Belle is looking at the fur on the ground to see if there's any more goodies for her, and we'll give her another goodie just to show her how much we appreciate her work. And then we immediately, and this is important, we immediately walk away from where the rabbit was. We want to get away from the fur that she's plucked and the little bit of blood that was out there, so that she doesn't go back and fuss over the spot where the rabbit was killed. And so now she's already back on the glove, and she's already again looking for the next jackrabbit. Yes, you did good, sweetheart. Such a good girl.
The Southwest Wildlife Foundation of Utah is a non-profit organization dedicated to wildlife rescue and rehab, education, and the development of the Cedar Canyon Nature Park. Our founder, Martin Tyner, is a federally licensed falconer, rehabber, propagator, and educator with over 50 years of experience. If you would like to learn more or help us help critters, please visit www.gowildlife.org.
Such a good bell. And that was about an average sized jackrabbit. That one probably will weigh in at about 6 pounds. The big ones around here will weigh in at about 8 pounds, and the smaller ones weigh in at about 5 pounds. So it was a very average sized jackrabbit, and of course Belle handled it well, and she's about 2 pounds. So the rabbit she caught, that particular one, was about 3 times her body weight. Oh, so that makes rabbit number 32 for the season. Oh, there she goes again. Okay, that jackrabbit got away, but that's okay. You really couldn't ask for a better fall day. Like I said, 70 degrees, middle of the day, just a light north breeze. And there she goes again. And of course my job is to keep up with her, and so that's what I have to work on, is giving her the support that she needs. Yep. Still after that rabbit. She still thinks it's out there somewhere close by. Now on the GoPro, I think it's a little distorted here with its super wide angle lens. The hawk is maybe 35-40 yards away from me, so not very far, but I'm sure as it appears in the GoPro it looks a lot further than it actually is. And one of the reasons that I'm just kind of briskly walking is just like that, if there's a rabbit nearby, I want the hawk to be settled in position so that as I approach, it'll cause the rabbit to reflush. And there she goes again. Oh, that one got through the bush. That one jumped about 3 feet in the air. Went through the bush, then jumped straight up as her talons went through the bush after it. And actually cleared the 3-foot high sagebrush right there. So she's really putting on a good show this evening, or this afternoon, for us. And she is quite happy. Huh, Belle? Because you missed 2 days of play. And so this is, she goes again. No, we had to be up in Boulder, Colorado on Sunday for a little award presentation for my 50 years of wildlife rescue work. And so we had to Sunday morning get up at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, get everybody fed and cared for in the dark. Left at 5 and got to Boulder, Colorado, which is a 9-hour drive, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And did what we needed to do, did the sound checks and everything that we needed to do to presentation. Was about 7:30 in the evening, and then by the time we were done it was about 9:30. We got back to the motel by 10, and that was an interesting flight. And they got up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could drive the 9 hours back to be back in Cedar City to feed and care for all the animals for Monday before it got dark. So it's been a long couple of days for us. And Scout, my golden eagle, came with us, and of course my beautiful wife Susan came as well, and everybody else stayed home. So Belle got to fly on Saturday, but Sunday and Monday she was unable to, so she's making up for lost time here. There's my girl. There's my Belle. And one of the great things about Belle is that she has been so well socialized, and she knows her job, that people out in the field don't bother her. So I've actually had people come out and want to go hawking with Belle, and so we've been able to hand them a glove. You know, they got to be obviously fit enough to keep up with me. So we hand them a glove, and we go out through the fields just like this with 2 or 3 other people, and if they and Belle will land on anybody's glove and hunt with them. You know, they're just basically a moving perch for her. And here goes Jackrabbit right close to us. Belle, ho, ho! There we go. Now the word ho is a traditional call in falconry, which basically means the game is up. That the rabbits are running, the duck is flying, the pheasant is flying, whatever quarry that you're, ho! Ho! Whatever quarry that you're working at, she's tired. She's been working hard. We need to slow down and give her a little rest. You getting tired, sweetie? You getting tired, babe? Come on. Look at you huff and puff. Look at that. You're breathing so hard. There's my pretty girl. I know. Why don't you take a breather for a few minutes? I don't know if you can see, she's still very intense. Her adrenaline's going. She wants to catch another rabbit. Really bad, even more so when she's tired. And unfortunately, a lot of these flights are getting quite long, and we need to walk a little more slowly here, give her a little more time to recover, and before I pick her up and she resumes wanting to chase the rabbits. In the wild, she wouldn't do this. In the wild, she and her family, her siblings and her parents, would be sitting on a power pole someplace surrounding a field, and they would be watching from different locations for a rabbit or something to hunt, and then one of the birds would fly down and flush the rabbit, and the other 3 to 5 birds would join in the hunt coming from different directions. So they hunt in packs like wolves. It's a really unique behavior. Instead of Belle doing all of the work. Huh, sweetheart? Hey, that's my girl. There you go. Yes. Huff and puff, huff and puff. Yes, I know. You need to slow down a little bit, sweetie. You don't have 4 or 5 siblings to help you. I'm not sure if the sound will pick up, but I can hear her breathing from all of her hard work. She really is quite an intense hunter. So we'll just kind of walk this direction a little bit, and I think there's a few rabbits this way, and we'll hopefully let her catch her breath a little bit before we turn back to where we have more rabbits for her to chase. And that is actually one of the issues that you've got is in a field like this. Ah, there she goes. In a field like this, a good season, you can actually flush more rabbits and you know, literally wear out your bird. And on the good side, that's great exercise. But on the bad side, you know, if the hawk chases lots and lots and lots of rabbits without success, they do get, like anybody else, they get disappointed and frustrated, and so you kind of want to mix it up a little bit so they get sufficient energy, enough to push them a little bit, but not so much that they get frustrated and decide that it's not worth the effort for them to hunt. So there's kind of a fine line there. And like I said, we've already got 1 rabbit in the bag right now, so we're ahead of the game. You know, if she doesn't catch any more, that's perfectly fine. Hi, there's my girl. Yeah. Yeah, starting to get your breathing back to normal. That's a good girl. Okay. So since she's not breathing too hard, we'll kind of turn back to where the rabbits were. And she knows, that's why she came this direction. She knows the rabbits are off this way. Yeah, you know the rabbits are this way, don't you, kiddo? Okay, babe. There's my pretty girl. There's my pretty girl. There you go, there's your rabbit. Yeah. Well, not only is she a little out of breath, but she's showing a slower wing beat, which means she is tired. So we'll start working our way back to the car. She can certainly chase any rabbits on the way back that she wants to, but again, we have to watch how they fly and their enthusiasm and their fitness level and everything. You know, she would go to the point where she'd just sit on the ground and not fly and let a rabbit walk up to her, and you know, and we don't want her to get to that point where she's that tired. Huh, Belle? There's my pretty girl. Okay, sweetheart. Come on. We're gonna go this way. And she's onto the rabbit. But she is tired. Let's see if I can bring her back. Instead of going further from the car, let's bring her back to me. And here she comes. There's my girl. We're gonna go this way, sweetie. We're gonna go back to the car. I know. You've been a good girl. You did a great job. There's my girl. And let me kind of clarify some things for you. Out in this area, we basically have two kinds of rabbits that live in this area. We have the cottontail rabbit, which is a true rabbit. And we have the pygmy rabbit, which is basically a really tiny version of the cottontail. And that's the only two rabbits that we have here. When you hear people speaking, including myself, of jackrabbits, they're not a rabbit. Jackrabbits are a hare. And the big difference between hare and rabbits are the rabbits are born in a burrow underground, and they're tiny and naked, and they require a long period of time for mom to raise them up before they come out of the den and face the big bad world out here. But hares, on the other hand, or what we call a jackrabbit, which is a hare, they are born with their eyes open, covered in fur. They just have the baby right underneath these sagebrush bushes, so that the there she goes. And so hence the name hare is because they're born with hair. And the mother will basically have, maybe 3 babies on average with the hares, with the jackrabbit hares. And the babies will be born at different areas in the field. So there'll be one baby under this bush, and maybe a few hundred yards away there'll be another baby born under another bush. And so the young babies never actually even see each other until they're out and running, and they're just wild rabbits and they just happen to run into them. They would have no idea that they're siblings. The reason for that is because they're born above ground. Predators like hawks and eagles especially, but coyotes and badgers and foxes and so on are a big deal for these guys. And so in order for at least some of the litter to survive, the mother hides them in different locations, and then she travels around and feeds them at different times, so that the whole litter isn't exposed to a predator. I mean, let's face it, the little tiny jackrabbits are pretty harmless, pretty helpless, even though they have fur on them and they're starting to nibble on solid food. But and if you had 2, 3, 4 of them in a little group under a bush, a coyote would eat them all instead of just find one. So that's the thought behind moving the babies around and having them in different locations, to help prevent all of the babies from getting eaten at one time. And that's one of the reasons that we have a hunting season for falconry, which starts in September, because the baby jackrabbits and cottontails are being born in the spring, and we want the rabbits to be completely weaned from their parents. We don't want to interrupt the breeding season by being out here hitting bushes and chasing the rabbits around and possibly catching mom and the babies die, so we don't want to do that. So once we get into late February, they're starting to breed, and it's time to bring the birds in and fatten them up all they want to eat, get them ready for molting, which is growing new feathers, and leave the wild hare and rabbit populations alone until next fall, when they have a much better chance of survival. And as you see, even with a really good high-performance Harris hawk, the vast majority of rabbits get away, which is a good thing. We wouldn't want to come out here and wipe out the rabbit population and have no more rabbits for her to chase ever again. So it's a good thing that the success ratios are as low as they are, so that we can protect the rabbits. So we're just going to call her back to the glove right now. In fact, here she comes. Here's my girl. And I've got goodies for her. She gets a nice meal. Such a good girl. Yes, you are. There's my girl. And it's hood time. There's my girl. Such a good little lady. And the purpose for the hood is several things. If there's too much distraction and noise and things that'll frighten her, you can slide the hood over her head. Let's say, bunch of guys on motorcycles and ATVs come tearing up the desert around here, and I can call her back, puts the hood on her head, and she can just sit there quietly until they leave. So having the bird well made to the hood is extremely important. But also in this kind of a situation where she's tired, but she doesn't want to quit, she wants to keep hunting, and she's going to just wear herself out horribly. And I would rather her not be so sore and tired that tomorrow she won't be able to go hunting. So we kind of put the hood on her, and then that keeps her kind of quieted down, and now we can walk to the car comfortably. So our little flying session is over, but it was a good one. You know, she caught a jackrabbit, which is always a plus, and we'll gave her just about the right amount of food that she should be at the perfect flying weight tomorrow morning, so we can get out again tomorrow. Tomorrow evening I've got a wildlife show to do with her, so we won't be able to go out in the evening, but tomorrow morning will be fun, and give her exercise, and helps to keep them not only physically fit but also emotionally fit as well, when they get to burn off nervousness and energy out in the field.